All right, now let's talk about the secretly broke in their 50s. And this is the group that we're going to call the It's Rigged Club. And frankly, this group of individuals is jaded. They have become exhausted with watching their money disappear. And because of that, because it has been difficult for them to build and amass wealth, they are now convinced that they're a victim. And the system is rigged against them. And it's not possible for them to have been more successful than they have been thus far in life. And that's a pretty sad place to be.
Well, I mean, we were doing a live stream recently, Bo, and we had the median net worth for the country, and I did the back of the napkin math on it for a 20-year-old who just starts saving and investing. It was like investing $30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So the typical American just doesn't do what they're supposed to from a behavioral standpoint. They don't, even though we can tell them that, hey, when you're 20 years old, if you can save right around $100 a month, you're going to have $1 million. The majority of Americans just don't do it. So you can fast forward through your 20s, through your 30s, through your 40s. You can imagine if you haven't been doing, you've been procrastinating, you get to your 50s, when a young person asks you about the system, you're probably pretty cynical because you've procrastinated right into the point where it's going to be hard to get yourself out of what's being created. So you start telling everybody, hey, it is rigged. The system doesn't work. The reality is that there was a lot of opportunity over the last 3 to 4 decades that just got kind of ignored.
And so what are some of the signs? What are some of the things you can notice for folks who might be falling into this it's rigged category? Well, the first is they have way too big of a house, or said differently, their house represents way too much of their net worth. It's amazing. They might have a nice home, and their home might even be getting close to being debt-free, but that's all they really have to show in their wealth building. And perhaps they've even made decisions to invest in that house, to upgrade the kitchen, to do the backyard, to add the swimming pool. And they've done those things and made those decisions at the cost of actually building up for their future financial independence.
I think the house is like just another symptom of lifestyle. I think about that commercial from years ago where the gentleman's riding around on his riding lawnmower, has the brand new SUV in the driveway, big, beautiful house, and he's like, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. This is the visual that you see for people who've kind of, like I said, lived in the moment, and now they're at the point where, hey, it's not good what the future is going to look like if you haven't started doing the behavioral things. And that's why let's talk about the behavioral signs, is that they don't want to talk about it anymore. You can imagine if you get into your 50s, you didn't understand deferred gratification and living on less than you want, you probably don't want to talk about it, because talking about it means that you're actually going to have to face the fact that you got some tough decisions ahead of you.
And then there's also the mindset sign. And this is one that's pretty sad. They begin to think, you know what, the stock market, this whole investing thing, this portfolio thing, it's really all a scam. And oftentimes they'll have a story to tell with you. Hey, you know, I had bought this stock and it did awesome, and then 2008. Or man, I went and bought this stock because I thought it was going to do great, and then 2022, or whatever the thing may be. And they begin to think, you know what, the only people that make money in the stock market are the rich people, or the insiders, or the company owners, or those kinds of people. It's not for the everyday person. And unfortunately, that could not be farther from the truth.
Well, these are also mindset-wise, they're thinking about your employer forces you to save in these retirement plans. You know what y'all do? They tell young people, go take out a loan from your 401k so you can buy that first house or other things. And that stuff breaks my heart, because I just know that it is essentially poisoning the future for those behind them, because money is a tool and it can be a resource that can actually work harder than your back, your brain, and your hands, but you just have to give it its best opportunity. And that's why I like to pivot and talk about what can we actually learn from not those that are doing things wrong, but who actually have turned money into a tool to help them live their best life.
Well, and we've seen it time and time and time and time again, that a lot of times when we get to interact and talk with folks at this stage, they are a living, breathing example of the fact that the system is not rigged against you. Whether it be the doctor or the school teacher or the construction person or the fill in the blank in the profession, the same sort of behaviors for people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different incomes, who employ the same behaviors are able to reach financial independence. So the system isn't rigged against you, just perhaps you weren't taught the right things, or you haven't been following the right advice. But it is possible to build wealth, and it is available to everyone.
Well, and you're probably watching this content. I don't know if you're in your 50s, but you're probably not in your 20s, which is the peak opportunity. You might be in your 30s, you might be in your 40s. I'm here to tell you, waiting is not going to make anything better.
That's right.
You have today to be the positive influence on your life. So I would actually, if you go to learn.moneyguy.com, we actually have a great Know Your Number course. And why is this important? Is because this is going to let you know, are you ahead of the curve? Are you behind the curve? Or right where you're supposed to be? Don't let another day, another year pass you by where you've missed out on another year. Compounding growth could be the solution to get you out of this.
And that is the exact mindset shift we want you to have. No matter where you are, whether you're in your 50s or whether you're in your 30s or whether in your 20s or whether in your 60s, it's not too late to begin improving your financial life. Yes, if you are later on in the journey, perhaps it's going to look a little bit different. Perhaps Social Security is going to make up more of your lifestyle than you thought. Perhaps you have to work a little bit longer. Perhaps you're going to have to live in a different house than you thought you were going to live in. But if you want to take this seriously, you can make, no matter where you are, meaningful decisions today that can have positive impacts for your future self. But you got to take it seriously today. You got to begin to making those decisions right now.